The biggest regret I have making this review is that I did not record my initial reaction to the sound when Hunter sent it to me. Everything that Hunter has done up to this point has been excellent. The Wild Mother's dulcimer, which is kind of, you can hear that in this instrument. He's helped me with the GUI for the feathered flute. He's done a bunch of other free sounds for Piano Book. He's given a lot to the community. I've played a ton of instruments in my time. Most of them are great. What people make these days is amazing, and all different kinds. Some are more utilitarian, some are meant for me to kind of tell the instrument what to do, some just take me on a crazy journey of sound. But with this instrument, Hunter seems to have found the best of all the worlds and created a folk acoustic style library that I find to be realistic, and that is difficult to do. When you open this up, you can see you have guitar, cello, banjo, oud, I think, right? Mandolin, violin, and dulcimer. And then there is an articulation or a groove that's attached to it. So you can click here and you can change it from a plucked sound. So let's just solo up the guitar. If you need a plucked guitar sample instrument library, this probably isn't going to give you everything that you need. This is about the ensemble. Let's listen to the plucked. Brushed. Tremolo. And then note blossoms. These are great. Let's hold down quite a few keys. I can change the panning here, but that's not fun. This is what's fun. The closer you are to the center of the room, the volume goes to its loudest point, and the pan goes straight up. When you move it around, the volume dips, and the panning changes as you go from left to right. The farther away, the quieter it gets. If you wanted to go and do the blossoms for all of them, you can go to articulation, hit blossoms, and then we'll go and turn all of these back on. The demo track that I wrote utilized these blossoms in the beginning. And then by changing the mix, you can work through all of these different pre-made mixes that he's set up for us. This is a more ambient sound, I assume. Scoring to picture, those moments where you need a little something going on in the background. After composing for media or production music libraries for a decade now, I don't look at instruments for their sound as much as the way that they behave. I feel like if a sound is behaving in a certain way, like this is an obvious specific behavior, right? It's chaotic, it's kind of unpredictable. Well, that is a mood in and of itself. And whether that's a synthesizer or strings, that's a very specific mood. Now, obviously, the sounds have meaning in them, and we associate some of these sounds with folk music or bluegrass music, singer-songwriter. But really, the behavior and what it's doing tells me more about the emotion than the actual tone of the instrument. You can click on these articulations, you can all plucked sounds. Brushed sounds. Wispy. Tremolo with the mod wheel. But then he has groove combos. So if I click on this and I flip over to arrange, you can see that some of these are on groove 1, some are groove 2. Let me just play. 2 hands. I can change the groove up. Let's put some of these on 8th notes. I'm just randomly. Let's change the mix up to where it's a little more focused. The brushed and plucked is a blend of both of those articulations. You can see banjo's plucked, oud is brushed. I know this was difficult for Hunter to do because I have tried this. It is much easier to make all the sounds perfect than it is to let some go with some subtle nuances that aren't perfect. But when you put everything together and you have some perfect samples and some slightly nuanced, that's when the instrument starts to come to life. Here's Steady Chug, which is a combination of quarters and eighths. You can offset the start times to get more creative rhythms. And if there's ever a preset that's fun to just play, it's this last one here, this low rhythm high lead. Eighth notes kind of on the left hand, and then plucked and hammered sounds on the right hand. Sustain pedal. Hear all that, the slides at the end. Again, provide the realism that you're going to get if there's an ensemble of folk musicians in your living room. For the blossoms, this is a nice feature. You can turn on random starts so that they're always different, but there's a point where if you really like the way that the blossoms played and you want it to repeat over and over again, you want to turn off randomization so it plays the same exact part each time. And then there's the bleed knob. I watched Hunter's video. He explained it. And I need to watch it again. You need to watch it as well. It's doing something under the hood to give the impression that we're listening to it in different parts of the room. I'm sorry, Hunter. I don't really know what it does, but I know what it does to my ears. That's a super quick rundown of what the instrument can do. I'm not going to go over the specs. I don't care how many round robins. I just know when I play it, does it sound real? And I don't care how large the file size is. I mean, that's all important. You can get it through the Spitfire Audio app, which is great. What I want to communicate more than anything, and you're just going to have to take my word for it, is how inspiring this instrument was and what it did to my brain when I was able to play and quickly lay down kind of A sections and B sections. That's the way I talk as a media composer, and get those down so that I had a basic chord structure, a basic skeleton for my track. And then it inspired me to go grab my other instruments and play the parts that help glue these parts together. You can absolutely write a complete finished track with this sample library, but I don't expect that from any of the sample libraries I buy. And if I'm writing a song based off of one sample library, that kind of worries me that other people are going to do the same. The magic is when I take a little bit of what Hunter's got here and add a little bit of what I've got behind me and put those together into hopefully something that is original and unique and inspiring for you to listen to. I'm going back in time a bit. I printed everything into audio for the mix process, but this is what my Blossoms track sounded like. I'm imagining a scenario where someone is explaining what's about to happen before the music kicks in. And the very first track I wrote was this A section. When I was done, I divided these into 3 individual tracks for mix purposes, like a high, medium, and low. So let's listen to all of them together. That's basically the A section, and then when I came around to that again, I added a lower part. I've got the guitar on groove 1, cello on groove 2, that might have actually been the preset, I'm not 100% sure. And then my B section, I switched to this hard left, hard right sound. I have a groove on the left hand and then a plucked sound on the right. This additional low part is playing a similar groove to the first one. Together. that led me to want to pick up my lap steel. And I came up with this ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not going to solo up too much of my pedal steel or lap steel because there are moments where the tuning is not great, but hey, kind of fits the vibe. And some funky notes. And then I loaded up the percussion. Now this is a separate instance that you can load in, and it's just got random sounds like. So I came up with this part here. Kind of a driving sound. Boom, 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 boom. And then I added this other percussion part. In all honesty, if I was a better lap steel player, I probably wouldn't put so much reverb and delay on it, because that pushes it in the background, but it also hides some of my mistakes. And so I wanted the melodic line that I came up with to be a little more out front, so I added in these low melody and high melody plucked sounds. Pan them left and right. They somewhat match the steel. Trying to bring out that melodic line. And then I needed some transitions. Notice here that I've got the mod wheel rising. Just to add a little something going into the next section. Then I felt like it needed a little something else, so I added this piano. There's not much to it. I added my own shaker. And then I added tambourine. And then I added bass. Super exciting bass part. That's my P bass with the foam underneath the strings to make it a little more thumpy. And then these are all my printed tracks that I already played for you. I'm going to play through the track and I'm going to do a bit of a reenactment with the instruments and fake my way through the parts so you can see kind of what I was doing and how they came in and out. I believe it's $79 for a limited time, and then it goes up after the first couple weeks or month. It's NKS ready, so you do not have to have the full version of Kontakt. It comes with the player. I'm going to hit play on my track, and the Blossoms are going to play underneath me, and I'm going to say this last thing. Hunter is a good dude, and you should buy this instrument because it will make your productions better, but it will also help Hunter out. He's already given us so much as part of this community. I've listened to him talk and I kind of understand how his brain works in a very, very small way. And I know that the best from him is yet to come. And it's hard being an independent musician, as many of you know. It's hard being an independent sample developer, whatever independent means. $79 is a lot of your hard-earned money, but I think there is a lot in Hunter that we haven't seen yet. And by helping him out and encouraging him with our financial gifts, I think that's only going to benefit all of us in the long run.